Wandering Hillbilly Home Theater. Phil Collins over here, I used to work with him a lot. They've even given me a couple of statues through the years, no idea why.
Loved your recent 7-day itinerary for the BVI. Is there any information on your friend Ron? Ron Paul is one of the best stage managers in Los Angeles and all of television, and he's amazing at it. And he's kind of a funny guy too. So, how much do you recommend we tip our captain for a 7-day cruise? You want to pay between 10 and 20%. My husband David and I discovered you a few years ago and became instant fans. Tragically, on January 21st, my David passed away unexpectedly at 66 years old. I'm devastated. Life is short, and I'm grateful you were part of our journey. This is what life is about, right? Spending quality time with the people you love at quality places, doing quality things, and showing love to one another. I'm glad they had it, man. I'm glad they had it. Okay, gang, welcome back to the bar here. I know the last time I shot here, it really annoyed a guy that the microwave kept saying press start because I don't have the clock on. I'm just gonna keep annoying you because I don't wanna touch it. We're here to answer questions on the BVI video that I put out a couple of weeks ago about the 7-day itinerary. Lots of questions to get to, and I wanna get to them right away. By the way, I'm very excited and happy. You know, there's a little movie theater that we have in our house here in Omaha, and I've just turned it into the Wandering Hillbilly Theater. Little tour here.
So yeah, I'm like standing there and there's the bar and the light and all that kind of crap. So you come up here to, of course, the Wandering Hillbilly Home Theater. And it's just a lovely room. It's kind of cool, right? Got Phil Collins over here. I used to work with him a lot. Some other stuff around. They've even given me a couple of statues through the years. I have absolutely no idea why. Bunch of crap on the wall, and look what we have in the back of the room. That's what I'm talking about, baby.
Love that damn place. And we get to have the family over, watch the Super Bowl. A lot of fun. All right, let's get to these questions. There's a lot of great questions, so let's hop right on it, okay? Hey, Hillbilly, what is a reasonable budget for a 1-week charter as you have described? All right, well, that depends on whether or not you're sailing or if you're on a motor yacht, obviously. If you're sailing, it's very cheap. It's a lot cheaper than being on a motor yacht because, you know, you're not using a bunch of fuel. For what I'm talking about with MarineMax or moorings, for a 44-footer, you're going to be paying somewhere in the $14,000 to $15,000 a week range and up, depending on how many people, how many days. And if it's a 54-footer, you're going to start at around $24,000 to $25,000, and it'll go up from there. I'm actually going to do a video here in the coming weeks with a couple of the ladies who work for MarineMax who actually do the booking. So if you call them, they're going to answer. So they'll actually talk you through the charges and how it works. How would you modify for a 5-day trip? One that ideally includes Anegada. Planning a 5-night MarineMax cruise trip in December. I don't see how you get up to Anegada in 5 days. I mean, you could do it, but you're just racing like crazy and you're gonna miss half of all the islands. Because let's think of it, if you're gonna do it, you're gonna go straight to the North Sound, maybe go to the Bittern Yacht Club or the Baz, and then you're gonna race way up to Anegada, do Anegada. You're gonna come back and maybe do Scrub Island or something like that. Then you gotta get over to Jost Van Dyke to do the Soggy Dollar Bar, and then you're done. So if I was doing a 5-day trip, I would not do Anegada until I had the time to do a 7 or 10-day trip. That's just a personal thing that I think you should consider. Alan, thanks for all the great information. We have chartered twice in the Exumas with the captain because of your videos and going with friends this summer for our first time to the BVIs. Question, what's the best way to get the skills to pilot my own charter in the future? Well, as I've said before, you have to show the charter companies that you've had enough experience on a boat the size that you want to charter. You have to be able to show that experience. Did you own a boat that was that size? Have you operated one with someone else at that size? I took some classes, some inshore cruising classes, some basic boating classes. I took a nighttime navigation class, which taught me never to navigate at night. And so, you know, just things like that to get approved in order to get your own not a license, just to be able to be the captain of your own charter. Regarding the flotillas, is it possible to rent one room in the cabin instead of an entire boat? Love your vibe and your groundedness. Well, thank you. It's not possible in our flotilla that we're doing here this coming October, but it might be possible with other charter companies. You would have to call the charter companies around the BVI. There are tons of them, and I'm sure some of them do allow that. Loved your recent 7-day itinerary for the BVI. We'll be there in a couple of weeks. Is there any information on your friend Ron? Is he a Hollywood guy? Trust me, Ronnie's a legend in his own mind. I will tell you, Ron Paul is one of the best stage managers in Los Angeles and all of television. Ron is one of my stage managers on The Voice. You know, when we go to commercial, there's a big set on stage. We go to commercial, and 4 minutes later, we fade back up, and there's a completely different set sitting in the middle of the floor. That's Ronnie. Ronnie's in charge of the stage, of turning the stage around, making sure all the pieces get in the right place, all the people are in the right place. Ron's a stage manager, and he's amazing at it. And he's a kind of a funny guy, too, so Ronnie's a great guy. Thank you for sharing your BVI adventures. I have a question for you. Regarding your experience with the no-see-ums down there, I really didn't even know what they meant until I actually kept reading. We have been down to the USVI and BVI 3 times, and each time we have gotten so bitten up. Is there any secret to avoid these nasty bugs? I don't know why, but for whatever reason, they don't like me. I've never been bitten down there. I don't know why. But then I have friends who come on board and they get bitten all week. So all I can say is just bring all the stuff you need to bring to prepare, the off, the everything. I don't know what all the stuff you guys use to make sure that the bugs don't bite you. But for whatever reason, I'm lucky. Sorry. What electronic chart do you use for displaying on channel and for planning? I use what used to be called Navionics. It's now called Garmin Boating, and it's an app. It's $50 annually. You can do it on your phone or your iPad. It's the same stuff that you're going to get on the chart plotter that is actually on the charter boat that you're on. I just think it's better bringing your iPad or your phone because you can pre-plan all your trips and your routes before you even go. Hello, Wandering Hillbilly. We'll be going on our first charter ever in the BVIs this April on a 464 PC from the moorings. Your videos have been so helpful in assisting us with our planning. Here's a question. How much do you recommend we tip our captain for a 7-day cruise? We're already paying an extra $1,900 for the captain. In my recollection and from what I know, you want to pay between 10 and 20%. So if he costs $1,900, I would tip him between $200 and $400. I think that's just kind of standard down there. Some of these 54-footers at MarineMax have a captain and a chef, so obviously you'd want to tip more for that. And that's a novel idea, isn't it? Having an amazing 54-foot with a captain and a chef. That's something to think about. Should I be thinking? Never mind. Well, I don't know. We'll see. Okay, I gotta finish with this one. You know, sometimes, especially since I talked about loss and anger in the last video, I get people just like telling me their stories, and most of them pertain to the BVI. And this is from a lady named Karen, and she sent this to me, and I just felt like it just has to be shared. My husband David and I discovered you a few years ago and became instant fans. We fell in love with sailing in 2013 and taking several trips to the BVI. Our last was in 2016, and then the hurricanes and COVID kind of stopped it. Last May, we chartered a 48-foot Dufour from BVI Charters for an incredible 10 days. We often talked about how amazing it would be to run into you and even considered writing to say, you inspired our trip. We cried with you over the loss of your Aquila and cheered on your adventures. Tragically, on January 21st, my David passed away unexpectedly at 66 years old. I'm devastated. The other day, I saw that your father's service was on February 1st, the same day as my David's celebration of life. Looking back, our BVI trip was one of the best decisions, and I just needed to send you a note. Life is short, and I'm grateful you were part of our journey. Well, I mean, here's a picture that she sent me. I can tell you right now, that is Cooper Island. I can tell you exactly where they're standing. I just want to thank you again for your lovely note. It means more to me than you can ever imagine, and I know it would have meant the world to David. I had to write her. I just sent her a little note saying, you know what? This is what life is about, right? Spending quality time with the people you love at quality places, doing quality things, and showing love to one another. And loss like this is some of the saddest things that we can experience. But it's the happiness that we had getting there. That's the trip. That's what it is. That's the trip of life. I'm glad they had it, man. I'm glad they had it. All right, listen. More videos coming up. I'm going to have the girls from MarineMax explain how to charter a boat. That's a video that's coming up. A video is going to come up about answering all of these insurance hell questions that I got from that video. Yes, we're going on a boat up in Canada. That's going to be a blast. There's a lot going on with the Hillbilly, and the Hillbilly's just going to keep rising and rising and rising. Thank you for your day. Love you all. Subscribe if you can. I appreciate it. Thanks.